Attention! Your vessel has come within 250 yards or less of a Signal King tangible submarine that has submitted a distress signal. The emergency camera of the submarine, number 6261313, appears to be disabled. This vessel has been classified by the Marine Itinerants Association as harmless. Approach is recommended.
Brilliant. Yeah, I got it working. Oh, it was super easy. There were some wires loose in the machine's endoplasmic reticulum that I just needed to replace. Yeah, it was super hard. That's why it took so long to fix the camera. Yeah, the camera's on. Yeah, it's transmitting. It's transmitting. You're live. Hi. Salutations. I am second in command and owner of this submarine, license number 6261313. So I bet you're wondering why we're on your signal. Well, a while ago I sent in the paperwork to the Marine Itinerants Association about having us being Captain Rocket and I, officially defined as being in a state of emergency. The MIA granted it, and therefore, we have legal right to this frequency. You probably want to see my paperwork. I can get it for you. I know where it is. I know where it is. I know where it is. It's in here, along with everything else. While I dig, you probably want me to answer more questions. I know the questions. I know you want to know where I am. From the distress message, you know I'm close, but we've sunk to the bottom, probably out of sight. And while I may have no coordinates to give you, I can give you the hint that my TV picks up the BBC. In fact, that's why we stopped here. Before the BBC, the TV could only show reruns of TMZ. We had been floating around looking for the TCM channel, but everything got confused in the worst possible way. And so when we found the BBC, we just stayed here. We get everything, from Sherlock to Doctor Who to Giles Corrin and Sue Perkins eating a sheep's head for science. That's my favorite show. Supersizers Go. It teaches the history of food. I've seen them all so much. I know all the jokes, and I can recite the lunch the English served the Australians during the first Ashes Cup tournament. I especially like in the Edwardian episode, where they eat at the Savoy with Anton Mossemer in place of the late Escoffier. I just find the duck press so interesting. I mean, what came first, the press or the sauce? Sue with the asparagus. I was so proud of myself because I recognized the aria that Melbo is singing. Oh God, of course I can't remember it now. Voce sapete Mozart's Marriage of Figaro. I prefer the historical documentaries to the fiction. No shade thrown on the fiction. The fiction is phenomenal. The historical documentaries make me feel grateful for the time and place I'm in. while the fiction just makes me feel jealous of the... Oh, I found a Plautus egg. It's a Plautus... Let me explain. I have a pet turtle named Plautus. Or, well, I have 3 pet turtles named Plautus, all of whom escaped. And now I've been finding these little eggs all over the sub. That's why I named them all Plautus, because I can't tell which turtle lays which egg, so if they're all named Plautus, then I'm never wrong when I say it's Plautus's egg. Rocket! Rocket! I found another Plautus egg. Well, you should care. Rocket doesn't really come out of the cockpit anymore. Not since we sunk. I don't really go into the cockpit anymore. Not since he locked the door. He lost his key? Not the key to the door, or the key to the ignition, which isn't a key, there's a button to do, but Rocket is clockwork on the inside. And without the key, he wound down, and now he's much more like clock not work, or clock broken, but nothing on this ship can rev him up again. Believe me, I tried. It was a beautiful key. It was small and silver, and it didn't have any real diamonds in it, but it was cut so that when the light hit... Oh! Huh, it's the ship's manual. I mean, it can't help right now, but it's a nice thing to have. I know what you're thinking. Really? Who buys Signal Kings anymore? Weren't they all recalled by the government? Well, I bought a Signal King. It was a really good price. And besides, I picked this one specifically because the dealer had said it was a convertible. I thought that meant that it could convert into multi-terrain vehicles, land, sea, air, the way the newer models can. It turned out that it meant that, like a convertible car, the roof opens at the touch of a button, which is a horrible thing for a submarine to be able to do. In case of emergency, page 96. In case of emergency, open the "in case of emergency" box located by the ship's entrance hatch. I barely want to stand up out of this chair, let alone go up that ladder. But curiosity beckons, right? Rocket, did you even know we had an emergency hatch? So I climbed up the ladder to the emergency hatch, and I opened the "in case of emergency" box, and there was nothing in it, except painted on the inside of the door were the words, "I help those who help themselves." Normally, I would just laugh something like that off and just chalk it up to the submarine being its leaky self as usual. But there was something about it that just made me so mad that I slammed the little door and I tried again. I found this. It's a little envelope. There's something in it. Have you ever been in that place between 0 and 1? That place in between making plans and actually having begun? And worse, have you ever been closer to being not than what you ought to be? I'd love to say that the reason why I spend my days learning to notice the culinary anachronisms of the romantic period dramas I live vicariously through was because I had nothing better to do. That the reason why I only absorbed and never produced was because my ideas were nothing more than the covers of the songs of more brilliant minds. If that were true and I admitted it, then I would be respected for being so self-aware, which I never knew was a talent. I always found overthinking why I did things to come naturally. I never thought being self-aware was anything special. But no, the reason why I spend my days eating Cheez-Its and watching Ruth Goodman ground almonds to make an original Elizabethan marchpane is because I am what the untrained eye would diagnose as lazy and what a more astute observer would call afraid. I am afraid of failure. And, no, wait, I need to define failure because it's not what you're thinking. Failure isn't being mocked. I have no fear of my work being hated or ridiculed. I mean, if you can't be beloved, then the next step down on the hero hierarchy is being important enough to have an enemy. No, I'm afraid of apathy. I'm afraid that no matter how much I deserve it, I won't be noticed. And so that's why it's just safer to stay here with the BBC. Have you ever been in that place between 0 and 1? The place where you've nothing to show for the work that you've done? You probably have. You have. I have. Rocket. Rocket, let me in. Rocket.